What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to a live edition of Underground Sports Philadelphia from the Jetro Lot right before Phillies Opening Night. It's KB, it's Dom, it's Dylan, three-quarters of the OG crew back together again. We got to do this more often. Cracking open ice-cold Kenny's. Shout out to Kenwood Beer for being part of our tailgate podcast. We're looking to do these all summer long. So if you're not at this one, you'll see this on YouTube in the after show, once it plays back. Come out to one later on this year. But before we get started, getting into all things Phillies, give you some prop bets, some stuff to responsibly wager on, and all that good stuff. Make sure you guys are following us at Underground PHI, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.com/Underground Sports PHI. You can follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311. Follow this guy right here, Don Pontari, at Wash Lifestyle. And follow Dylan, it's simple, at Dylan Mazzola. And make sure you guys subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you decide to get your podcast. We're there. Leave a 5-star rating and review. It helps the show continue to grow, helps more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia, and we're just trying to take this thing to the moon. You know what I'm saying?
Sir.
And subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. That's where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week. You get full episodes of Top Bins, full episodes of Streamer Season, Outside the Box, F1 Underground, all of our podcasts on the network. Go subscribe, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. And as Dom likes to say, ring that bell icon.
Yep.
It's important. We got 6 podcasts going out every single week on the channel.
You don't want to miss out at all.
So go subscribe. It's an easy way to support us. And, of course, one of the most effective and direct ways to support us is with our awesome merch partners, PHI Apparel Company, the best in the game with their unique designs. For the great fans of Philadelphia, you're going to stand out in the crowd when you're out here at the Jetro Lot, when you're going to Citizens Bank Park, when you're going to the Wells Fargo Center, Sixers-Nets, first-round matchup. You're going to stand out with your official merch from PHI Apparel Company.
I did not know that's who they're playing.
We love the dramatics.
Let's go.
Come on, Benjamin. Come sit on the bench. Get your merch. I'm rocking the Underground Sports Philadelphia Hype Beast hoodie right now underneath of this, and I'm completely comfortable, warm. It's one of the best hoodies I've ever purchased. You guys can get your own, too. When you go to phiapparel.co, use code Underground, and you get 10% off any and all orders. That's code Underground at phiapparel.co. Use code Underground for 10% off your order. Boys, we're in the lots.
It's great to be back, man. I haven't been out here in a long time.
We are in the lots.
Beautiful.
It's crazy out here. I can't even hear you guys right now. I'm just going with the flow.
It's a party out here. Very excited. Phillies home opener. They got a big win yesterday in the season home opener against the Cincinnati Reds, 5-2. Looking to build on that momentum. We told you guys the sky was not falling after an 0-4 start. If you expect a baseball team to not be able to bounce back in a 162-game season, you're fooling yourself.
Well, didn't we talk about that like a week or two ago?
Yeah.
We were like, hey, listen, if you hyper focus on the team, you're going to have ups and downs.
You're going to have a bad
freak
time.
Out. Yeah, guys, take a deep breath.
Just relax. They're 2-5 right now. Have a good opportunity to go win their first series of the season this afternoon. Bailey Falter on the mound, who pitched well in his first outing this year. I know the crowd yesterday was rambunctious and rowdy. Unfortunately, didn't have to have that game on a nice little 80-degree weather on Thursday, but nonetheless, crowd was fantastic yesterday. Reese Hoskins, Bryce Harper are the ones that raised the National League champions pennant. I feel like there was no better way to do it than for those two to do it, and the Phillies get a big win. Build momentum today, though. That's what you have to do. You take that home energy crowd, and you want to go out and you want to kind of make a statement against a bad Cincinnati Reds team. Sure, they have pieces, but you want to go out there and you want to kind of assert your dominance and go win a series, get everybody bought back in, go into the weekend, hopefully sweep a series, your home opening series, and then you have 3 more at home against the dreaded Miami Marlins, but get back on the right foot, kind of put the feet in motion. The big issue, though, is Derek Hall now on the injured list. Phillies now down not only one, but 2 first basemen. Cody Clemens called up, played pretty well yesterday, but you can't expect Cody Clemens, who's kind of just been a career minor leaguer to this point, to be your everyday starting first baseman.
Agreed.
Dylan, what do you want the Phillies to do to address first base? Obviously, it's going to take a little bit. Not everybody's going to sell off their team in April.
Yeah.
But when do you think the right time is to kind of go and poach a potential veteran first baseman to plug in there?
Well, I always think with any trade deadline in sports, the earlier the better, because it gives the guy you're going out and getting time to acclimate and like settle in. I feel like when you wait till the deadline, you're kind of hurting yourself because the other team can say, okay, they're desperate. You know, you go out and get a guy a month or so from now, the price may be lower. And a good guy that I would like is Christian Walker from the Diamondbacks. He has a Gold Glove or 2 Gold Gloves. He can hit 30-plus home runs in this ballpark, and the Gold Glove should be the emphasis on the because not dissing Reese, obviously he's hurt, but like. Reese is not a Gold Glover. Christian Walker has achieved that level once or twice. So if I were to go out and get a first baseman, I would go seek Arizona first.
Yeah, and I mean, there's other options as well. You know, I'm sure Christian Walker is going to be a hot name in the streets when the trade deadline comes closer.
Yes.
One that I didn't even think about until the other day. Old friend Carlos Santana come in, beat up some TVs again. While the boys are playing Fortnite.
CJ Cron, right? From
CJ Cron is
Colorado?
like Twitter's favorite boy.
Whoever, my limited baseball knowledge tells me this. First base, you don't need to play a lot of defense.
You need dingers.
You need
You
to
gotta
be able to catch the ball. You need a hit. That's what the first baseman does. You got to go
need a
out.
thick
You got to
boy.
get a slugger. Yeah, you got to go get somebody like that.
Yeah, so first base is definitely going to be something that they have to address. As the season progresses, we'll see what happens.
How long is this other injury?
They said it's not going to be season-ending, which is a positive, and Derek Hall tweeted the I'll be back gif on his Twitter yesterday, so that's a positive sign. Tore the UCL ligament in his thumb. So that's tough. And it's even tougher because it shouldn't have happened. He tried to stretch a single into a double, slid into second base at Yankee Stadium, jammed up his thumb, ends up tearing the UCL ligament in his thumb. So the Phillies are definitely in need of a first baseman. Overall, though, I think everything else, Phillies-wise, I was watching the post-game, like, people going out and talking to people man on the street style with the news stations and everything, talking about, the Phillies need more pitching. They're not going to go to the playoffs unless they get pitching. Hey, guys, Ranger Suarez hasn't even thrown an inning for this team yet, so pump the brakes there. That's going to be almost a trade deadline acquisition.
Or Andrew Painter.
Andrew Painter hasn't pitched yet.
It's such a tired take about the Phillies.
It's so lazy.
It's so tired. I hate it.
Yeah. Grab a first baseman, wired, pitcher, tired. Let's go.
And I mean, look at Aaron Nola specifically. You know, everybody wanted to bag on Aaron Nola for his start on opening day in Texas. Bounces back against the Yankees. Sure, we didn't win the game, but he looked much better. And you and I talked about this. The pitch clock is going to affect some of these guys who aren't used to it yet.
Yeah. I've noticed that. I've watched a couple games and really paid attention to that and looked at the speed of the game. And I can see how it can both affect pitchers and hitters.
Yeah.
Definitely hitters, because you could see, like, the hitters are a little uncomfortable because they want to take their time with everything, and then, they know the next pitch is coming in. Like, what are, like, the rule? Like, if the pitcher doesn't pitch in the time, is it, like, a ball toward the pitch count? Or what is...
There's so
I need to learn this.
I'm still learning some of it. I just learned recently that a pitcher, each batter that gets to first base, you get 2 throwovers now to try to pick off the batter. That third one, you either have to pick them off or it's an overall balk. So every runner advances. So you could have runners on the corners. You threw over twice, didn't pick off the guy on first base. You throw over, you don't pick him off. That runner on third now scores.
Wow.
So it totally changes, like, base running and everything on its head completely. And then with the pitch clock, I think a lot of people have issues with the time limit with which batters have to be set, and then pitchers are kind of thrown off.
Yeah, because I see it like pauses and resets at times.
Yeah.
Like it's not like consistent.
And it's like the umpires almost have to take into account that these guys are learning this pretty much for the first time. I'd say like 85% of these guys have never played with a pitch clock. They're learning it. You have to put in some of these safeguards more often and kind of take a hold and actually umpire the game. What a concept.
Oh, geez. Wow.
And
refs reffing?
Instead of, being blind to balls and strikes, actually help along this process of the pitch clock that seems like it's going to be staying for the near significant future and, further down the line, you have to be able to help these hitters, because if they're not set and then the pitcher tries to go, then it's a penalty on the pitcher, and then everything kind of unravels there, and you're throwing the pitcher off, and now their timing's off, the hitter's timing is off, and then everybody's kind of annoyed with the whole pitch clock situation.
I think overall it's a net positive. Would you guys agree, though? Like, I think that, bringing up the speed of the game will bring in more people to watch baseball, because, another tired take on the sport is that it's just too long.
Yeah.
And,
definitely.
Yeah. So, like, if anything to speed up the game and make it a little more interesting, like what you just said about the balk, if you're trying to continuously pick off a base runner and you're not doing it after 2 tries, like, third strike, move on, boys.
Yep.
Let's go.
Got to keep it pushing.
Yeah.
And, opening weekend we saw kind of the first glimpse of how much time has been cut off of games. Last year, the average game lasted, I think, like 3 hours and 7 minutes. This year, through the opening weekend, 2 hours and 38 minutes. So we've cut off almost about a half hour.
We're getting out here at 6:30 today. Let's go.
That's what I was saying in the
Let's
car.
go.
Like, it allows you as a fan to almost be like, oh, the game's at 1? I can be home by like 4:35. Whereas before, you're like, I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it was. Now you kind of have an idea of how the game is going to progress, how things are going to pace themselves, and obviously you can't account for, an inning going extraordinarily long because guys are hitting home runs, getting on base and stuff like that. But when you see a cut down of that much time, that's a significant amount of time taken away from the game to kind of push things along, make it a little quicker, and hopefully you're not out, in the cold in the April and May months of the season too long while these games are going on. One thing that has stuck out to me so far this season, it's been phenomenal, it's the young guys on this Phillies team that have really carried them even in the losses. You look at the guys like Brandon Marsh, you look at our baby boy Alec Bohm, Bryson Stott. They have been the ones kind of setting the table almost for a lot of the rallies that the Phillies have gone on, scoring runs. Bryson Stott's hitting 400 this year to start the year. He's just kind of carried over that plate discipline he had throughout the playoffs into the regular season. He seems like an even more mature player now than he was last year. Not that he wasn't, but he seems like more acclimated to the major league level, especially with his plate discipline. And then Alec Bohm has just been phenomenal both offensively and defensively this year, which rip to the bozos who said Alec Bohm couldn't, field a ball. He fucking loves this place.
He does love this place.
Yeah. Listen, the bigger the lip Bryson Stott packs, the more composed he is on the plate. I love it. I love to see it.
Dom's got a guy. Dom's got a guy.
But listen, no, for real though, you really could see the composure he had on the plate at such a young age in the playoffs. So like the fact that he's able to carry it over this season, and hopefully if he's able to stay consistent like that all season, obviously he's not going to be hitting 400 like the rest of the year. If he is, that's MVP numbers. But like, if he settles around 330, I'm happy. So
yeah, agreed.
Let's get it.
And even though they're young, they're of age. The daycare is of age, and they can crack open an ice cold Kenwood beer. Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's a refreshing light beer, 4.1% ABV, 127 calories, 10 grams of carbs. You guys can go to kenwoodbeer.com. Use the Kenny tracker to see who has Kenwood beer on tap in the Philadelphia area. You can buy Kenwood at your local Philadelphia liquor store, or in Eastern Pennsylvania, you can get it at your local Whole Foods. Light body, light calories, plenty of flavor, the best light beer on the planet. Must be 21 or older to do so, and of course, please drink responsibly. Shout out to Kenwood Beer for being our official beer partners, being part of this live tailgate podcast. What is kind of the expectation for you guys with these young guys as they continue to progress? Alec Bohm has kind of been the poster child of the new age rebuild for the Phillies, of the young guys getting called up. Mickey Moniak was in the mix. He obviously gets traded last year. And then Brandon Marsh comes in. He, even though he looks like he's 47, he's one of the youngest guys on the team. And then you have Bryson Stott in the mix as well. I think the fact that the Phillies now, as opposed to even during the run from 07 to 11, and then obviously during the rebuild, the fact that they have reliable young talent on this team has changed the trajectory of where they can take this current iteration of Phillies baseball, because now you have guys that you have drafted, you've developed, and you're able to call up and kind of insert into this rotation, into this lineup that primarily you've bought. You've bought them on the free agent market with Bryce, Zach Wheeler, JT Realmuto you traded for. The list goes on with the guys Schwarber, Castellanos. And then you inject this youth talent into the mix. That's something the Phillies traditionally in our lifetime really have never had.
Yeah.
I think it's like definitely interesting because I think now more than ever in any sport you can rely on like youth. Like I think you're seeing in any sport, baseball, hockey, etc. Like younger guys are making an impact like right away, or hopefully right away. So for the Phillies, I think it's time to lean on the young guys. Like we have a lot of guys who are, I wouldn't say old because I'm 27, but they're guys who are 29, 30, 31, which is crazy to think that the age difference. But like they're like old in the sport definition. But
Come on, man.
I know.
We're
sorry.
right there, brother.
Come on, man.
I know, but
watch your words.
My point is we can actually rely. We can rely on the young guy for once, Like, they're going to have to fill in. They're going to have to carry the roster. Last year, you saw JT carry the roster for large stretches when Harper was out, and that's one reason why we lost the playoffs. JT was, like, physically exhausted.
Yeah.
He had a team on his back, could not go any longer,
Look what happens when he gets some help. What happened yesterday.
Exactly.
Have other guys carry the load,
And I think having some of the guys that you traded for, like Brandon Marsh, like Edmundo Sosa, for the entire season now, they're kind of into the Phillies culture. They're into what this locker room vibe is going to be now, and that only helps the team chemistry.
Yeah.
Dom, you're a coach. You know how important team chemistry is, whether it's lacrosse, whether it's baseball, football. You need that camaraderie and that team chemistry, especially in a sport like Major League Baseball has, that it's such a long season. You're around these guys for such a long period of the year. You need to have good chemistry and good vibes in order to succeed.
I agree. You see it with any team that wins a championship. You'll see just the aura and atmosphere around that team, and you can just you see it, and you're like, yep, they're gonna go all the way. On top of that, with the young guys, I don't agree with fans turning on the young kids aggressively when they start to struggle. Especially nowadays with how toxic social media can get if your team is not playing well, and being a younger person, they're gonna be right in with social media. So some guys will end up paying attention to it. You'll see it affect their game. My biggest message to the fans is, just make sure you stay even-keeled and level-headed and don't, have these knee-jerk reactions when they have bad games or go through runs of bad form, because that's when they need the support the most. I never understand why, a fan of a team will, turn on their players to instantly they start playing bad. Yeah. I never understand it. It always happens. You see it in every sport. And I know the way that the Philly fans get on Twitter, regardless of the sport. Eagles, Sixers, most definitely. Flyers, you can see it now. I mean, you see it all the time.
Yeah.
And then you talk to Phillies. So if you turn on the young kids too early, especially if they're paying attention to what's being said on social media, it gets to you. Mm-hmm. It really does. I hate to be a Ben Simmons apologist for this one point that I'm making, but you could see that the stuff on social media really affected him when he was already having a tough time with the team in general. So that just adds on to it. If you got a guy, he's batting 152, and now the fans are saying, he can't hit worth of shit and this and that.
Look at Castellanos last year, a proven veteran. And he's not even on social media, but when you're in the outfield,
that's a wonderful
and we've talked about this a number of times because he's our guy, comes to a new city late in the year, trying to find a place to live. His wife is pregnant. He's playing a position that he wasn't traditionally coming into.
And then the fans are talking shit on him. It doesn't make sense.
And then you look at how the season progressed and how much better he got as the year went on and as the Phillies went into the postseason. And now you look at how he is this year. A lot of the pitch graphic charts that you see on the at-bat app and everything like that, there's pitches that are real close to being a ball or a strike, and Castellanos is laying off of those, where last year he's swinging in the dirt, trying to golf club those balls, and everyone's, pulling their hair out because Nicky C's not hitting the way that they expect him to. He's not hitting the 30 home runs that he hit with the Reds a couple seasons ago.
Yeah.
His plate discipline now that he's more comfortable, understands the vibe of the city, and kind of has gotten the experience of the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, he knows what to expect of himself now, and he's more comfortable with himself taking approaches at the plate, and he's going to be a better player for it. Look what he did yesterday. 2 doubles, draws a walk. He's laying off pitches. I think Nick Castellanos, especially now with Reese, Derek Hall, and Bryce Harper still out, you need Nicky C to step up in so many different ways, and it doesn't have to be with the long ball. As long as he's getting on base and kind of being a table setter for you, getting extra base hits, that's going to be so valuable for this team.
And he got 2 doubles yesterday, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bring back old school trash talking. Like, if I don't like a player on any of my Philadelphia teams, I don't feel the need to run to Twitter and say, like, this individual sucks ass or blah, blah, blah at so-so sport. I'll say it to you guys in person, but, like, I don't feel the need to blast them on social media. Like, why? You know what I mean? Like, if anyone listening, I think that should be a takeaway. Like, yo, you can like criticize in person, like right now, like we're doing, but like you don't have to like ostracize them on Twitter. Like you don't have to like light them up, you know? Like Don was saying.
And even at that, we're not gonna come on here and be like, yo, this guy's absolutely terrible. We need to trade him now. Like no, like, come on, guys. 100%. You know what I'm happy to see? I'm happy to see Bryce Harper hitting dingers.
Man,
BP.
Let's talk about that.
Dingers.
You know, BP yesterday. Video goes out from one of the guys from the Associated Press. I'm forgetting his name, so I apologize. We tweeted it out. Harper's just, taking casual swings in batting practice. Hits a tank shot. My boy Michael Culp in my Phillies Twitter Fantasy Baseball League works in the stadium. He was there yesterday. He said he hit it. It was second deck.
Upper deck,
tank shots. The fact that he's been able to do that now excites me for where his progression is from the recovery from Tommy John. And I think a lot of Phillies fans expected when Bryce came back from Tommy John surgery, he was going to start off just DHing anyway, to kind of get him more comfortable, get in the flow of things hitting-wise. And then you ease him back into the field a little bit, see how his arm is, throwing the ball in.
I saw rumors that he might come back and play first base, ? Is that like a thing? Can we...
Might need it at this point.
Yo, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
I mean, like, honestly, he's athletic enough where he can do first base. Like, Dom's criteria is catches the ball, hits dingers. That's all we need, right? First base.
And I mean,
if he doesn't have to, he won't have to throw the ball that much either. Like playing in the outfield, if he makes a play, regardless of if he has to ground the ball or catch it and throw it somewhere else, he's still got to throw the ball a decent amount and a good distance on top of that. Where if you're recovering, you can probably come back a little bit quicker if you're feeling comfortable hitting the ball and sit at first base because you're not going to throw the ball that much. And then once you're fully healed and maybe we have somebody else that can come in at first base, you move back into the outfield.
Yeah, and I mean, the fact that he's already this far along, progressing from a surgery that he got, I think, in, December.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That just shows, the mutant that Bryce Harper really is.
Please be no steroids.
Let's tread lightly.
But, I mean, that's just fascinating to me that, he is the type of guy, though, that if you were to say, hey, this person just sustained this injury that the standard human, it's going to take you 9 to 12 months to recover from. Bryce Harper is going to cut that timeline in half, if not more, because that's the type of player he is. That's the type of person he is in terms of just being dedicated to his craft. So to see where he is already is fascinating. Hopefully he comes back. And, I mean, Larry Bowa said it in spring training. He said, throw away the timeline of when you think Bryce Harper is going to come back, in a sense of he's going to be back earlier.
Yeah.
Which
that's the type of guy he is.
And that's what this team needs.
Yeah.
They need that shot in the arm of Bryce Harper to come in and extend this lineup a little bit. Not that this lineup is bad, but if you can insert a Bryce Harper into this lineup, it makes it that much better.
Isn't that crazy to think about our lineup too? Because we're totally glossing over. Like we talked about Nick. We've got Schwarber in there. JT's hitting homers, and we've got all these guys that still can bat. And then we're just talking about taking 2 guys out of the equation. But if we were able to put those 2 guys in, think how amazing the team would be. And yet still we're only 3rd in our division on paper. So
that's what having a good baseball roster is like. We weren't used to that for how many years?
We're not used to it. Last time we were used to it was when this happened.
Yeah.
Yep. And we haven't even talked about the guy that we're going to see for the first time in our uniform today in person. Man, is it fun to have Trey Turner on your baseball team. That guy
is good.
He had this expectation, I think, of Phillies fans coming in. Obviously, we knew him when he was playing with the Nationals, saw him when the Dodgers would come to town. But seeing him up close and personal and what his talent, skill set is, and how he sets the table at the top of the lineup, this is the first time the Phillies have had a true leadoff hitter since Jimmy Rollins.
Wow.
Like, last year, sure, you had Kyle Schwarber leading off, and it was fun to have, your 1-0 leads early in the game with a Schwarbomb. But the fact that Trey can get on base, he can hit extra base hits with ease. That sets the table for then Schwarber to come up to bat, and instead of it being 1-0, it's 2-0.
Doesn't he already have a triple on the season?
I think he's got 2 or 3 now. I think Trey Turner, I said this to my dad yesterday, it's funny that the Cincinnati Reds are in town. David Bell is their manager, former Phillies third baseman. David Bell in 2004 is the last Phillies player to hit for the cycle.
What?
Wait.
The Phillies have not had a player hit for the cycle since 2004, and it was David Bell, who's now a Major League Baseball manager.
It's kind of crazy, actually. Like, you think about it. Like, that's a long time.
Like, thinking about the fact that, like, Jimmy Rollins never did it. Shane Victorino never did it. Even a guy like Jason Worth never did it.
Chase Utley never did it.
And even guys, as it progressed, early on, Freddie Galvis had speed early on in his career. He never did it.
Yeah.
O'Doubel never did
2004.
it.
Dominic Brown in his 1.5 months of eliteness.
6 weeks, baby.
And we're still missing so many other good hitters that the Phillies have had over the years. That's so crazy to think about.
I think I'm going to put this on the record now, and I know our boy Jack Fritz said this too. I'm fully convinced now of a full week of Phillies games, Trey Turner's going to be the next guy to hit for the cycle. He has the capability to do it. He's hitting triples early in games. It's not like, Tim Kelly, Phillies Nation deputy editor. He has a tweet that, when somebody tweets out, oh, so-and-so is 3 for 4 in the day and they're a triple shy of the cycle. That's like saying Destiny's Child without knowing Beyonce. Which I think is a phenomenal comparison because you're still doing really well, but you don't have that marquee thing. Trey Turner's hitting triples in the first inning of games and getting it off the board early. I think at some point this year, Trey Turner's going to hit for the cycle and finally end the drought of almost 20 years of no cycles in Philadelphia Phillies baseball.
Drop that in on a prop bet, guys. Let's do it right now.
Let's do that. And that will most certainly end up in the Underground Sports Philadelphia Hall of Fame at some point, which we're going to get into a little bit here. And this segment brought to you by our new partners, the Wasted Wedge. A new age of golf has arrived, and if you're looking to be the talk and envy of your group and create memories with your friends and family, look no further than the lineup of Wasted Wedge products and merchandise. These Wasted Wedges are a blast to drink shots out of on and off the course. We have one right here on location. It's all welded and created right here in the US of A. And you guys can check them out at wastedwedge.com or find them at Wasted Wedge on Instagram and Facebook. That's wastedwedge.com. Remember the name, wastedwedge.com. Big thank you to them for jumping on board with us. New sponsor. Phenomenal product.
It's cool.
If you're just listening on audio,
It's very cool.
You take your traditional shot ski, you simplify some things. You don't have to pull out so much super glue. And you turn it into a golf club, and you've got the Wasted Wedge. It's a phenomenal product. Very happy to have them on board with us. They are also the presenting sponsor of the Get in the Hole podcast as well. But, guys, the Underground Sports Philadelphia Hall of Fame, it has been 5 years since we started this podcast, and we try to keep a record of everything that's gone on in the year that was, and we were obviously covering, a World Series, an MLS final, and a Super Bowl, so we kind of put it on the back burner a little bit. But
I have a good one for this.
There's a lot of things that happened in this past year that I think need to be put onto the ballot, which we'll be putting out on social media for everybody to get the fan vote in for, and then we will induct everybody at a later date to be announced. But Dylan, I'll start with you. You have a good one.
Yeah.
In the year that was, who deserves to be inducted?
So I guess the player by definition is in there, but I'm more emphasizing on Jalen Hurts' squat strength. The fact that our quarterback can squat 600 fucking pounds is astronomical. I can't even squat that, and I'm an avid gym goer.
That's double what I can do.
Yeah, I can do like 425, 450, maybe for like one ski, but 600? Like, come on.
Yeah.
No, that's
and it's more than once.
Yeah,
More than
exactly.
once.
It's
And
reps.
I think that all gets encapsulated right there. Jalen Hurts being able to squat 600 pounds gets encapsulated in what everybody has dubbed the tush push.
Yeah, well, I could be mistaken, but isn't the NFL changing the rules?
It is safe. It has been deemed safe. It's not going away, at least this year.
Good.
Which is awesome.
Good.
Because 92% of the time it works every time.
I'm tired of people complaining about it too. Like, if you know it's going to happen, stop it.
Step your squats
But
up.
if you can't stop it, so what? Don't get mad at us for doing it. If it works,
100%.
we're going to do it. Jesus Christ, I'm tired of people
Side
getting
note,
so
that guy
angry
has a
at it.
Mookie Betts jersey on. I think he's lost.
He doesn't even play for that team anymore.
Yeah, no, Jalen Hurts' season just in general,
Yeah.
I think, deserves to be inducted. But yeah, definitely, most definitely that.
Yeah.
Squatting is
The
on
tush
top.
push / 92% of the time. It works every time. We'll be putting that on a shirt.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the tush push play with how controversial it got outside of the Philadelphia area, and then just how effective it was and how successful the Eagles were with it, I think that's a no-brainer to go on the ballot. My personal favorite that I want to put on the ballot is it was the season turner for the Phillies last year. Alec Boehm. I fucking hate this place.
I like that.
That's a good one.
You know,
That's
as soon
a
as
good
that
one.
happened, Alec Boehm's career trajectory changed because he could have gone out there, got caught on the hot cam saying that, and then in the locker room said, "Oh, I didn't say that." No, he embraced it, he owned it, and then went on to have the best year of his career to date.
Yeah.
And then throughout the playoffs, dropped I love this place.
Yeah.
Every time he got the opportunity to. He has fully bought in and ingrained himself into this team, into this city, and knowing what it's about. So I think that moment in the Phillies 2022 season is such a key piece to why they even got to the World Series, honestly. So Alec Boehm, I fucking hate this place, gets the auto bid to get on the ballot from me.
I have two. One of them is dependent on something happening, but that's if Joel Embiid wins the MVP.
Yes.
It's been a long time coming. But the one that I would love as a hot take or like a dark horse kind of is the Philadelphia Union's academy success.
I like that.
Not only has Brendan Aronson gone on to play in Europe now, and he plays for Leeds United, who end up maybe getting relegated, but regardless, he's playing in Europe. His younger brother went to the Bundesliga. Mm-hmm. Also, the U15s for the Philadelphia Union have beaten teams like Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, and other
They're killing it, dude.
top European teams by a score of 11-1 across a couple games recently. They've been destroying it. You know, their U17 teams went and played top academies from South America and Brazil, and they ended up beating them. So, the way that the Union is doing this with their MLS academy right now, and along with a couple other ones, but we're focusing on Philadelphia sports, the way that the Union has been doing this and really getting up to speed with the rest of the world with how they develop young talent, it's only going to help the U.S. men's national team in the long run. It's going to help the MLS in the long run. It's going to help the Union be a top team in the league for a long time to come.
I like that a lot because, we talk Union now on the podcast and have over the past couple of seasons. I still don't think they get enough love for how consistent of a team they are.
No, they're slept on by the city, and I don't appreciate it because
They've been
they're
so
one of the
good
better
the past
teams in the
couple years.
season.
Yeah.
They're one of the better teams in Philadelphia.
Blake Griffin's a rock. He's a rock star. They're the goaltender.
Yeah, Andre Blake is a
and then
menace.
Did you say Blake Griffin?
Yeah, I did. I did say Blake Griffin.
You didn't think I was going to let that slide, huh?
No, but to go to Dom's point, to defend myself for having a terrible slip up,
You're all right.
I did see that the Union are one of the least spenders in the MLS.
Yep.
In terms of contracts.
Matt and I kind of compared them to the Tampa Bay Rays of the MLS.
So on top of what he's saying they're doing, and they're doing all while spending $0, which is incredible because the MLS is obviously not the Premier League, and
take advantage of the minimum contracts.
Yeah, exactly. So to give your point credit, they deserve double credit because they're doing all this on league min.
Yeah, and with the MLS, you have rules where you have to keep so many domestic players and homegrown players on your team, and the fact that they're able to do that through signing academy players only allows them to spend the big bucks on actual players. So it only helps them out in the long run, and it's a beautiful thing.
I think Dylan and I were talking about this on our way up. I think one that kind of encapsulates a couple of things that happened in the year that was. Philadelphia teams finally cut the dead weight when it was time to cut the dead weight. Joe Girardi gets fired when it needed to happen. Chuck Fletcher gets fired.
Thank God.
A little too late, but it finally happened.
Way too late.
The Flyers fans were going to riot soon, dude.
Yeah, I'm going to lead the charge. Tank season, baby.
Philadelphia teams that needed to make a change finally wised up and realized, hey, something needs to change.
Well, it's a sports town. We have to be good at everything. Like there's no L's. Like let's go. Let's accept who we are.
I wouldn't say every team.
Yeah,
We
right.
said that too.
I think the Sixers need to get rid of Doc
Agreed.
Rivers, but
Kyle did in fact say that in the car. Almost there.
listen, I don't watch the Sixers that much anymore. Like if you're a real true fan of the show, you know how I was in the early
He
years.
used to hop out the
when it
Porsche
was-
with Justin Anderson.
when it was Sixers.
Hey, 2
Yeah,
out of 3 is not
man,
bad,
like,
right? Come on.
Listen. No, it's the fact that we can't get out of the Eastern. We can't even get to the Eastern Conference finals still. Like, come on now. Come on. Like, there's things that majorly need to change. You know what could be a thing for the Underground Sports Hall of Fame? That the Eagles did the process better than the Sixers, and the Sixers started first.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a
You
good
see it
point.
now. The Eagles won a Super Bowl and got to the Super Bowl again. The Sixers haven't even gotten to the finals of
second
the Eastern
round.
Conference final. It's, just think about that.
And the Eagles have done it with 3 different quarterbacks. They had Carson Wentz up until he tore his ACL, and they had Nick Foles, and they had Jalen Hurts get there again.
Yep.
I,
Sixers have been tanking since 2014.
Yeah. I think we open up a new category this year because I think it's been more prominent now that a lot of the teams have been very successful. I think we need to have a wing of our Hall of Fame of the famous fans because I think a lot of people have truly shown themselves to be true Philadelphia fans, whether it's just for the clout or not. 2 come to mind. Mikal Bridges, who we know is a diehard Philly sports fan through and through,
Miles
but
Teller.
he is fully in it. He was at Yankee Stadium this past week when the Phillies were there. They had a whole bet with the Diamondbacks when he was playing for the Phoenix Suns of Mikal Bridges Day if the Phillies ended up winning or the Diamondbacks ended up winning. He's tweeting about the Eagles, during the season, tweeting about every team outside of the Sixers because he should still be playing for them. But I digress. I think Mikal Bridges is definitely somebody up for that, and I think country artist Zach Bryan. He is not even truly from here, but the way he goes to bat for Philadelphia on Twitter talks about how he doesn't want to be associated with Nashville. He wants to be associated with Philadelphia because those are the type of people you can go out with, you can crack open an ice cold Kenwood beer with, and you get in a bar fight and then you shake hands with people. That's what he wants to be associated with. I think Zach Bryan, this is our public call out, would love to have Zach Bryan on the podcast.
Come on.
It'd be sweet.
Come on the show.
I think he gets a nod as well for the Famous Fan Award this year.
You said Miles Teller. That's another good one.
Yeah, he's at every Phillies game, I feel like.
Yeah, he's at Phillies games, Eagles games.
He's not maybe famous as per se, he doesn't have Hollywood notoriety, but the guy that has all the Phillies tattoos, the big guy.
Oh, yeah, Dunphy.
Yeah. But he
got thrown out of Yankee Stadium this week.
I work with people down in CIO who know him personally, so it's hilarious. I think he's on billboards and commercials and stuff now. I think he's pretty famous, at least locally. And another guy who may be famous, but more on the local end, Sayburn on Instagram. I think his TikToks and videos are hilarious.
You gonna say yours in the car? You said, Kyle, about your fan that brought us all together.
Who?
The guy who ate a certain thing.
Oh, yeah, this is our community award. We give out the community award. It's named after the boy Giovanni Hamilton, who won the very first one. It's given to somebody, a group of people who bring the Philadelphia community together during that year.
Oh, I know who you're about to talk about.
Rotisserie Chicken Guy is 100% the community award winner for this past year. When we were down on our laurels,
Hell yeah,
needed
dude.
something to rally around, my man went to an abandoned pier and ate the 40th rotisserie chicken
Hell
in
yeah.
40 straight days and had people clamoring like we just won a championship.
Put up flyers around the city for it,
They
man.
were
That was
all
great.
over the place. He's still giving back to the community to this day as well because of that. Rotisserie Chicken Guy, 100% is our community award.
A hero.
I'm not voting against it.
He's an icon.
I'm all about that.
True icon, really.
Hell yeah.
I think another member of I don't even know if it has to be in the famous fans. I think just her notoriety with the city of Philadelphia, and we finally have something for people from our area to relate to on television. I think we have a leeway here to induct Philadelphia's new iconic queen, Quinta Brunson, for Abbott Elementary, because that show, one, is hilarious. Two, the references on that show, if you're from here, they make that much more sense, and you laugh 10 times harder at what's going on.
Yeah.
It's very timely with the references. The video that comes to mind all the time is the janitor saying, "This year's different because we got A.J. Brown." How relevant was that? I think Abbott Elementary / Quinta Brunson works in, and I think that's a special place for you as a teacher too.
Well, on a more serious note, it does give a really introspective look on the struggles that the Philadelphia School District public schools deal with on a daily basis with all the politics that go into getting funding for certain things, or the discrepancies between the access to education that certain schools have compared to other ones based off of where they're located in the city. So, not only is it a funny, heartwarming show that people can watch, but it really does let you know about the state of education, not just in Philadelphia, but across the nation, really. Like, public education is, like, one thing that obviously I fight for pretty heavily. So, I really do like the show a lot. I'm behind on it. Monica was telling me that she's all caught up on it, so I gotta get caught up on it.
And I think, bringing up that, I think, because it happened in this past year, the A.J. Brown trade.
Yeah.
The A.J. Brown trade is one of the most successful trades in Philadelphia history.
Yeah, how about the fact that our Philadelphia Eagles have 2 number 1 wide receiver out of 10?
Unbelievable.
Like, it's like one day, okay. Like, it's terrible for fantasy owners. I'm sorry, because I had Devontae Smith on both my fantasy teams. But it's like one day he'll pop off because he's getting everything thrown to him because the defense schemed against A.J. Brown. But then because Devontae popped off, now the next week's team schemes against him and A.J. Brown pops off. And it's one or the other. It's great as a fan of the team. Yeah. I love seeing it. It's
great real life, bad fantasy.
Yes.
And I mean, it started off with a bang with the FaceTime call between him and Jalen Hurts saying, "Let's get it, my boy." And they're just cracking up to reunite. It's crazy that it took this long for NFL teams to realize that if you get your quarterback, their best friend, they're going to succeed.
Yeah.
So I think the A.J. Brown trade is 100% on the ballot for sure. And we'll be putting out a poll on Twitter and Instagram for you guys to add in your own fan votes for everything, and we'll have the official induction later on, probably this month or early in May. But also want to give a shout out to Audio Technica, the headsets Dom and I are wearing. Shout out to them for hooking us up after a little bit of a mishap with ordering stuff. They said, "Hey, we want to help you out for your event. Send us some headsets to use for the event." So big thank you to them for making this possible with these headsets. They're amazing. We'll definitely be using these for our live events in the future as well. But I think we end the episode, boys. We're getting ready to go experience Phillies Opening Night is the title. I want your best prop bet for today's game, whether it's somebody to hit a home run, strikeouts, whatever it may be. I'll start. I'm going Alec Boehm's going yard today. The sweet baby boy is going to go yard in our presence. Give me Alec Boehm. It's plus 650 on a certain sports book. I'm taking Alec Boehm to hit a home run.
You can go next.
Are we predicting who's hitting well or playing well? I couldn't hear you. I was distracted by Abba behind me.
Your best prop of the day.
Best prop?
Whether it's home runs, strikeouts, multiple hits.
I think our pitcher's going to go 6 innings. 10-plus strikeouts.
Bailey Falter for 10 Ks. Let's go.
I'm a degenerate gambler. I make terrible bets.
I'm so wrong, by the way.
So listen, you should not listen to my betting advice. Do not put me back in jail like what happened off the Top Ends episodes. Trey Turner hits for the cycle.
I love it. I was going to say that was my honorable mention. I like that. If he does that in our presence, it was meant to be. It was meant to be. Also, I
lock it in.
It happened last year. I would love for it to be tradition that Nick Castellanos goes yard in our presence, deep to left field, make it a 4-0 ball game. Let's experience it live in person. So those are our best bets for Saturday night. And big thank you to everybody who came out to the tailgate today. We're hoping to do more of these in the future, especially when it gets nicer out.
Wait, hold on. YouTube, we do not own the rights to any of this music.
We are
cannot control what's going on in the parking lot right now, so please.
We are talking over all of it.
You guys have – I can't hear anything. What? You have headphones. I don't.
Make sure you guys follow us at Underground PHI, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.com/Underground Sports PHI. Follow Dylan on Twitter at Dylan Mazzola. Follow Dom at Wash Lifestyle. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple, Spotify. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia.
Like, comment, subscribe, hit the post notification bell so you don't miss on anything that we post on that platform.
And big thank you to PHI Apparel Company. Go get your merch, phiapparel.co. Use code Underground for 10% off any and all orders. Big thank you to Kenwood Beer, the official beer of Underground Sports Philadelphia.
I need another one.
Go use that Kenny tracker to see who's got it on tap. And, of course, the Wasted Wedge, our new sponsor, wastedwedge.com. Go check it out. And, again, big thank you to Audio Technica as well. But this has been Underground Sports Philadelphia, live from the Jetro Lot, presented by the city of Vineland. Shout out to them as well for making this possible. For Dylan, for Dom, I'm KB. We'll see you guys next time. Until then, we're signing off. Peace.